What is that sound? You guys hear that sound? I hope you can hear that sound. My scope is rattling in a way that no scope should. That's very strange. It's the TheGearTester here with a short little video on Cabelas caliber specific scopes. Sadly, I have to tell you to stay away from this scope. Stay away from the 22 long rifle, stay away from the 17 and 22 Magnum scopes, stay away from the 223, 556 scopes. This happens to be one of the 223 scopes. And it is with a sad heart that I tell you to stay away from them and that I would not recommend them to you. If you'd ask me what I thought of this scope for the last 6 months, I'd tell you I thought it was an excellent piece of equipment, at least until about 2 weeks ago. And that's when I was cleaning my Mini 14. I'm going to show you guys some targets that I shot using Cabelas caliber specific scope in 223. Here is my Mini 14. I have 2 accuracy reports on this gun, along with 3 range reports and a tabletop review that is being worked on currently. And I've shot around 800 rounds through the Mini 14 using Cabelas caliber specific scope. And I've been, until 2 weeks ago, very impressed with this scope. I had not spent a lot of time with a 3x12 scope before. I had spent most of my time by 3x9 scopes or fixed 4-power scopes. And it was nice to have the additional magnification of that 12 power, allowing me to see at 100 yards easily where I was hitting with the 223 rounds. And I really like that. Some of you might be wondering at this point what a caliber specific scope is, and I'll do my best. They've got some pictures here. I hope you guys can see those. Get them a little bit closer. There we go. Basically, a caliber specific scope means that once you zero it at 100 yards, then they give you different aiming dots or lines there, aiming points, to help you estimate where to shoot at targets past, around 200 and 300 yards with the 223. On the 17 HMR and 22 Mag 100, you zero at 100 yards, you get a drop for 150, and then 200 yards. For the 22, you get a zeroed on at 50 yards, and then you get a drop for 75 and 100 yards. Cabelas says right here on the box that it takes the guesswork out of shooting with our new EXT bullet drop reticle, and then the crosshairs are precisely calibrated to match the bullet drop of your caliber. I would not say that it takes the guesswork out. You're still going to have to kind of estimate with them, and that's really what those lines are, is estimations of where you'd be shooting. They did seem to hold true. You'd need to know that, as far as I can tell, you really, for this to work, would need to be on 10 power there. They very clearly mark it. If you're under or over the 10 power, it's not really on as well. So you would need to be at 10 power ready to shoot there. You wouldn't be able. So you do need to be aware that for the aiming points there that they give you, those kind of aiming estimations, you would need to be fully zeroed on at 100 yards, and then you would also need to be at 10 power. That's my understanding. The problem that I have with Cabelas caliber specific scope is the quality control. I've been actually very accurate with this scope. And let's look at some of these targets here. These were all shot with my Mini 14 at 100 yards. There is a group under 1 inch. I'm sorry, not at 100 yards, at 50 yards. Okay, here's another group, and third group, larger, but these were decent groups, at least for me, in combination with the Mini 14. The Mini 14 is not a sniping rifle. It's not super accurate. I actually got groups out to 100 yards at or a little bit under 2 inches with my Mini 14 using Cabelas caliber specific scope. And I think that was really due to the additional magnification, that 12 power magnification. But the problem with Cabelas caliber specific scope started for me about 2 weeks ago when I was taking my Mini 14 down and cleaning it, and I heard this rattling. Scope should not rattle like that. And I started looking around at what was going on, and I originally thought that the sound was coming down here from the back of the scope. And as I started to play around with it and look at it down here and figure out what was going on, I realized that this section here was rotating. That's not supposed to rotate. That's supposed to stay fixed. And this is the section, can't even get it to do it. This is the section that's supposed to rotate. So I started messing with that a little bit more and figured that I could really get it cinched back up the way it had been. But now I have no idea of my magnification. Okay, so those magnification markings are gone now. I thought, well, that's a real bummer. I actually took this apart, looked at it, and I was just really unhappy, but the little rattling persisted. And I looked down here at the front of the scope, and I saw this little black, what I thought was a hair. It's actually a seal sticking up, and I touched it, and boom, fell right off. And that's actually the seal, okay, to the front lens of my scope. So you can kiss waterproof goodbye or water resistant goodbye. The first time this thing gets any kind of moisture around it, it's just going to soak it in like a sponge, and you're going to be trying to look through a cloud of moisture drops as you try and aim. Okay. Plus, that's really annoying to have the front lens rattling like that. Drive you crazy. So for those reasons, I have to tell you to stay away from Cabelas caliber specific scopes. They are not recommended by me, the Gear Tester. 3 weeks ago, I would have told you they were some of the best little scopes at a decent price that I knew about. If you're wondering, and maybe some of you are interested to know what I would recommend to you, I would recommend a company whose name starts with L. This would be the company that I would point you guys towards, Leopold. Okay? I purchased my VX1 3x9x40 for about $200. Maybe a little bit under $200. I got it on sale, so maybe $195. The Cabelas caliber specific scope was actually purchased for me as a gift by a friend. It cost that individual about $150, maybe a little bit more. So for $45 more, you can have a Leopold. Okay, now it doesn't have those caliber specific markings. It's just a standard 3x9 duplex sight. But from what I know of Leopold, and I've spent at this point in my life, I've spent more time behind the Leopold scope than any other company scopes that I've shot. Both the Leopold Rifleman's and this VX1. What I know of their customer service is they take care of you if they have a problem. And Cabelas would probably give me a new one of these, but I'm not interested in that. I will be returning it to Cabelas, hopefully getting my money back. I don't have the receipt, so they'll probably be giving me a gift certificate, and that's fine. There are lots of things at Cabelas that I would like to purchase. Just a reminder, if you're going to put your name on a product, if you're going to sign your name on something, make sure that it's quality, and make sure you can be proud of what's going on with it. If you like this video, or if it interested you, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Also head to my channel page. I've got a number of different playlists and videos out on camping gear, survival gear, and shooting gear. My goal is to provide quality videos to you, my subscribers and viewers, of camping, survival, and shooting gear. Thank you so much for your views and your subscriptions. I'm sad to tell you to stay away from Cabelas caliber specific scopes. This is the Gear Tester, signing off.